Our next speaker has been in Toastmasters for over 2 years. He finished his Competent Communicator, finished his Advanced Communicator, and now he's in the Storytelling Manual, Project 3, The Moral of the Story. His objectives today are to understand that a story can be entertaining and display moral values, to create a new story that offers a lesson and a moral, and to tell us a story using skills developed in his previous 2 projects. Zach Varghese is our next speaker. Please listen closely to the introduction. Zach just took part of an experiment that intrigued moms so much that he's inviting you to get involved as well.
That's a typo.
Today's not my day, folks. Here to give an explanation on what this experiment is Zach Varghese, titled Maynard Project. Let's welcome Zach Varghese to the stage.
I would tell you what I said for moms, but I completely forgot. I wrote this 4 days ago, but whatever. So, you read this, the Maynard Project, and you wonder who or what is Maynard? Sounds dumb, but whatever. It's a last name. Last name of a man named Kyle Maynard that I met in high school. Now, this man I met in a wrestling competition. And in this competition, named the Maynard Tournament, I met one of the most inspirational people I've ever met in my life. And I hope to live a life as impressive as his. I remember after the entire tournament was done, an announcer came up to the center of the court and stood stoic in the center, holding a microphone, and said, "Good evening, wrestlers. Up next is no tournament, it's no match, but we're welcoming Kyle Maynard. He is a world record holding weightlifter. He is an ESPY winning MMA fighter. He is now a Hall of Fame wrestler. Welcome to the court, Kyle Maynard." And I saw him come into the center, into the biggest wrestling circle that was in the court. And he walked up and he waved to everyone, and then he looked at what would be his opponent, who was the champion of that entire tournament in that weight class. And they squared off. The other wrestler getting to his wrestling stance, looking around, seeing everyone looking exactly at only Kyle Maynard and this one wrestler. And he was looking and he was getting worried. I saw the sweat come off. And then the match started. The referee blew his whistle and the match began. And 15 seconds later, all I saw was a blur. The varsity champion wrestler of that tournament was on the floor, gasping for air. Meanwhile, Kyle Maynard was standing there as if nothing happened, as if the match just started. And he said, "Hey guys," very, very casual. He says, "Hey guys, you hear all those accomplishments? That I'm a world record breaking weightlifter, that I'm an MMA fighter, that I'm a good wrestler in the Hall of Fame? That didn't start out that way. In fact, I was horrible when I started out. I was one of the worst wrestlers I knew, and I was definitely the worst wrestler on my team." And I said, "I don't believe that. You just took down a varsity champion in 15 seconds. That's not possible. You were at least somewhat decent when you started." But he says, "No, It was really bad when I started out. In fact, I hated wrestling when I started. And before telling you his struggles with wrestling, I'll show you a picture of who Kyle Maynard is. This is Kyle Maynard. He's a victim of congenital forgot the word. Whatever. But basically, what that means is he was born this way. He was born this way, and every single year he would turn to his mom and say, "Mom, Dad, why am I different? Why when I look at other boys and girls, they can do things I can't?" And every single time they would turn as good Christians and say, "Well, you're dealt a bad hand, but what you need to do is play your cards right." And he believed it, and he moved on. And of course, there was naysayers, there was people that said, "You are horrible and don't, just quit. There's no point." In fact, some of them, or the worst of them, were online. Comments like this, or this, or this. A lot of people hated him. They thought they were that he was making a mockery of the sport, that this is a joke that this guy is even in this sport, that he was even fighting MMA, that he wasn't even wrestling. But he didn't believe that. He said, if I can join, if I can sign up, that means I'm doing it. I don't care who else says anything. If I can do it, I will do it. And of course he started out, and the record started. He got up to this plate, or he got up to the mat, and he wrestled. And he lost one. And then he met up with his dad. He's like, "All right, we'll try better. Next time, you'll win." Then he lost another. "Next time, you'll do it. Next time, next time, next time." 20 matches go, 20 losses. Look, next time, just don't get pinned. Don't get pinned. It doesn't matter if you lose or win, you're there. 30 matches, 30 losses. And his dad's like, "Just as long as you get on the mat, you're a success story to me." His 36th match, he was about to lose. It was about to be 36 losses, and that's it. And then he pinned him. And then slowly but surely, one more win, one more win, one more win, until it was 90 wins and 50 losses. He was a success. And the reason why is because he never told himself that there was a limit. So, I began this speech saying I took part in an experiment, the Kyle Maynard Project. Well, I was the scientist and I was the test subject. And I'm inviting you to do the same, be the scientist and the test subject. Now the experiment is this. Tell yourself that there are no limits and live your life. And then see what the results are. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. Story of the underdog we can all relate to. Great speech. Would everyone please fill out the speaker 3 feedback for Zach and pass that into the middle aisle, and he will pick it up shortly. As well, Ksenia, timer, were all the speeches in time?
Max was not, and Jason's tabletop.
Were they in the 30-second barrier? No. So there's only one speaker that was in time?
Speeches?
Speeches.
There were 2, Jitten and Blake.
Chicken and Blake. And also, can you vote for best speaker, either Jitin or Blake on the feedback? And please pass that in as well.
Pass it down. What? Just pass it down.
This way.
Our last part of the meeting is the evaluation portion. This is the most important part of Toastmasters, because in order to improve, you have to be given feedback. And not feedback like you suck, but feedback like you could use improvement. That's the type of feedback we're looking for. And to run this part of the meeting is one of our most beloved Toastmasters, Austin Leach. Let's welcome him to the stage.
Alex? Hey, as he said, most people always come up here and say, and now for my favorite part of the meeting, table topics. But evaluation is definitely the most important. I'm going to start, our first speaker was Blake with his icebreaker. Before I call up Jack to do his evaluation, I just want to say, evaluating icebreakers is the most important part of evaluations, because it's their first speech. It's what it's their first, they'll be setting their first goals, pretty much. All right, Jack, come on up.
All right, so Blake, great first speech. You did a really great job. I feel like we really got to know you really well, which was a big objective of the icebreaker. I thought you were very well prepared, that's a big part of just having a good speech every single time, so keep that up. Everything from how well you were dressed to, I didn't really notice any long pauses. It seemed like you had really rehearsed, but it didn't seem unnaturally rehearsed. Like it was smooth. Also, very organized, like from point to point. Like could notice a clear intro, body, 3 points, a conclusion. It was a great job. And you spoke very loudly and clearly. So good job with that. A few things I noticed. It seemed like you were pacing just a little bit, it's good to use up the space, but I feel like maybe just slow it down a little bit next time. It seemed like you're going, it's like a little bit too fast. So work on that. And also you came out with a good intro, but I'd say next time don't mention that you're nervous. I wouldn't have thought you were nervous if you hadn't said anything.
I don't think I was actually nervous, I just wanted to.
Okay, that makes sense. And also, yeah, so back to a big objective of the icebreaker is us getting to know you. And so, like, I feel like from what I personally took away, you seem very organized, athletic with the water polo. It was pretty funny, like a car wash story. And obviously you're here, so you're looking to improve. So to conclude, keep it up. Just work on the pacing a little bit. I guess probably the only thing I could really think of to work on for next time. So keep it up.
Now for our second evaluator, who will be evaluating Jin's speech, is Enrique.
So
see, in terms of, I'm just gonna go down the list here, so in terms of, the first category is speech value. And the question is, what was it interesting / meaningful to the audience? And I gotta say, I would definitely 100% agree with that. Your story was set up in the way that, you know, we got to know you a little bit first, we got to know your father a little bit first when you told us about, you gave like a few scenarios where like your father would say no to chocolate, no to the toy, right, no to this new shirt. We got to know like who your father was, the kind of person that he was, right? And then as you went down, as you continued with your story, you gave reasons as to why he was saying those things, right? So the way that you set it up was very effective in the sense that you built the base, right? You built the emotional base so that people could connect more easily to your story, to your message, right? So that when you progress further into the story, we were gradually involved more and more emotionally, right? So yeah, so again, your preparation, I gotta say, it was pretty good. You know, there were very few ums or ahs. You know, any awkward pauses, I don't really notice any personally.